Tip FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, puck on. It's time to change. Test drive the award-winning range of Peugeot hybrids and fully electric vehicles at Slattery's Garage today. See slatterysgarage.ie.
Now, one of our listeners on to say, good morning, Fran, Happy New Year. I just had a car in front of me do an emergency stop. Stopped on the top of a hill just because he couldn't see when the sun hit his windscreen, says one of our listeners out there. I was lucky not to rear end him because of what he did. Please pull in, clear your windscreen in a safe way, because when the low sun hits you, you will be blinded, says James, who's in New Inn today. 083 311 3311. Now, if you're planning on quitting your job today, well, you're not alone. 1 in 10 even intends to pack in their work this month, and a third of those will do it today. Would you believe? Now, a survey by ACS found that a quarter of workers say their job makes them unhappy, with 41% saying they want a career overhaul. Half of workers say they're forced down a career path they didn't choose, with many blaming their poor parents. Now, Karen O'Reilly is from Employ Mum recruitment agency, and she joins me now. Good morning to you, Karen.
Good morning, Fran. How are you this morning?
I'm well, and a happy new year to you. Do you go along with that today could be a quit day for a lot of people, Karen?
Absolutely. It's a very real story.
Is it?
Yeah. January consistently sees one of the biggest spikes in job searching every year. And as you said, the recruitment platforms will report activity jumping by about 20 to 30% compared to December. So look, and today alone tells its own story. It's -4 here in Cork. Schools are opening late and parents are scrambling, and Employ Mum and Employ Flex, we exist because good people, I suppose, are being pushed out of work for things that are completely outside their control, and flexible jobs really keep people working and rigid ones don't, I guess.
And, I mean, how much of it is the natural feeling we all have about going back to work and, as you say, dark, cold mornings and all of that thing, like going back to school? How much of it is that? Is it just natural kind of unrest?
Well, absolutely. We've got short daylight hours. We've got the cold weather. We've just had 2 weeks off, and we've been partying for 2 weeks. If you're Irish, you have been anyway.
Yes.
So January consistently ranks as one of the lowest well-being months of the year as well. So it's your brain chemistry, I suppose, and the weather ganging up on you and saying, look, it's time for a change. You kind of have this clarity moment as well. Psychologists will talk about, when you step away from something, you see it more clearly. So you're back to work now and you're going like, what the hell am I doing this for? I don't want to get up early in the dark and have zero flexibility at work. And why am I bending my whole life around a job? So these are the questions that people are asking themselves now as they go back to work today.
Yeah, and do you go along with that line in the research as well that's making the point that some people were forced down particular career paths that they didn't choose, and many of them blaming their parents where that's concerned as well? Do you come across that quite a lot, Karen?
Well, that can be true, I guess, in some instances, but I suppose, people get themselves into financial situations where, they have, the two people have to work in a family situation if they want to buy a house or something like that. So, I suppose that's where flexible work comes in is again, we're advocates for flexible work so that, two people can work, but maybe maybe one person can work from home or one person can work part-time, and making, family life a bit better like that. And, I do see as well, I have a 20-year-old and an 18-year-old, and some of the parents do, I think, push their children down certain routes, which I suppose you might regret later in life indeed.
And is that changing? Because, again, some of the research saying that that's kind of changing, that parents are now more likely to go along with a young person's dream or a vision of what it is they want to do with their careers.
Yeah, well, look, what I see, I've got a Leaving Cert student now this year as well, and I think a lot of it is like, look, if the child gets 600 points, it does very well in their Leaving Cert, they must go and do medicine or something like that, with the high points. Yeah. Whereas that might not necessarily be what the child wants. They might want to be a teacher, for example, or a carpenter. So they shouldn't be pushed to go into the roles that are necessarily equating the high points like medicine or dentistry or veterinary or something like that, So that's where I think the issue lies. And also the snobbery that attaches with, having to go to third level education, where an apprenticeship, might suit a child as well. It might be definitely in this era of AI might be the better choice for a lot of people.
Your own story is very interesting, Karen, if you don't mind my bringing that up, because you were an accountant for many years and you sort of fell into what you're doing at the moment, so to speak. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I qualified as an accountant and didn't really love it, I have to say. But I lived in France for a number of years. I lived in France for 12 years and had my children there. And so when I moved back to Ireland, I wanted something flexible, as my children were going to Irish schools after coming out of French schools. And I wanted to work flexibly. So when I looked for a flexible job, I found that there was nobody there to help me find one, or they just weren't there. So when I did a bit of research, I realised that there was a lot of other mothers like me who were looking for flexibility, who really did want to work. I really did want to work, but not a traditional 9 to 5, because I wanted to be there for the kids when they came home from school. So that's where the idea came from. Employ Mum was born. And since then, that was 2016, we've been helping mothers and others find flexible work in the workplace.
Is it particularly difficult for women who might like to change career path? Are there particular difficulties there?
I'd say it's difficult for everybody who wants to change career path, really. But, I think it's not like the landscape has changed, I guess. I mean, before you went into a job and that was a job for life, you were an accountant for life. Now it's quite okay to use your transferable skills and change roles. There's also a lot of support out there. There's a lot of springboard courses that are available for less, more or less for free or heavily subsidized, and they can help you change careers and, again, build on what you have and change direction. But I wouldn't say it's more difficult. I suppose post-COVID as well, there's more of an open attitude towards flexibility and also, pivoting in your career as well.
Did I not get the feeling, though, that last year there was a bit of a rollback on that kind of flexibility, particularly where working from home is concerned? Some companies rowing back on that?
100%, Fran. Yeah. There is a huge RTO, return to office feeling out there, especially coming from the large multinationals. But I think that's where the SMEs can shine here now, and compete with the multinationals. It's always very difficult for small businesses, and, in the Midlands and the Round Tipperary, there will be a lot of small businesses operating there. And this is where they can now shine, and they can attract the best talent out there by offering the flexibility, by offering the hybrid working, and competing against the giants, where before it was very difficult to compete with salary and all the benefits that they offer. But now the SMEs have that opportunity to do that and be more flexible and offer those advantages to the employee.
All right, Karen, good to talk to you and a happy new year to you, and thanks for coming on with us this morning. Good morning to you. That's Karen O'Reilly there from Employ Mum. What about you? Are you unhappy in your job? You're thinking about changing your job. Have you done that? And have you done that successfully? We'd love to hear your story where that is concerned. Mike was on to say, good morning, Fran. Just back from my school bus run. Most people driving slow and steady, but one car overtook me and the two cars in front of me as if it were a summer's morning. Obviously late for work or something, but they had to be doing well over 100k. That was on the road between Golden and New Win. Are you serious? God, wow. It couldn't be sure was that road treated. I drive every day and the sheer recklessness I see at times is crazy. The amount of aggressive driving. People block junctions. They won't give way to bigger vehicles, even if it's going to help them to let that big vehicle off. The only thing they see is a 25 foot in front of their car and where they're not moving with no brain engagement. It's crazy stuff out there. says Mike too as well. It's interesting, as I said a couple of times this morning, I was travelling on the roads last night from Mayo. I was kind of trying to take it easy, even though the roads were well treated. But you're right. I mean, the amount of people just taking chances and flying as if there was no weather issue whatsoever. Anyway, we'll take a break. Back with more Tip Today in just a moment.
Tip FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, puck on. It's time to change. Test drive the award-winning range of Peugeot hybrids and fully electric vehicles at Slattery's Garage today. See slatterysgarage.ie.